What's going on, guys? This is Rob. If you guys enjoy my content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that little bell so you never miss out on my sexy voice. All right, so continuing on with Green Lantern Sunday, which we've been doing this for what feels like forever, we have Parallax Flash versus Hal Jordan. It is, man, it's a sight to behold. It's pretty amazing because it's all the powers of the Flash combined with like the wrath of Parallax, right? Like that's what's so cool about this. Parallax is the fear entity, like amplifies the energies of others, but for the most part, he's just like the representation of fear. But like Flash as Parallax looks amazing. But notice this is like a personal battle between these guys. What's so cool about this is that if you guys, when we went over like the secret origin of Hal Jordan, originally in 1993, Hal Jordan went crazy after Coast City was destroyed and he declared himself Parallax. And that was it. Jeff Johns came along and said, actually, he was possessed by the Parallax entity. We just didn't know it. And that's what's so cool is because Hal Jordan knows Parallax like intimately. I mean, they know each other in and out. Parallax knows what terrifies Hal Jordan the most, but Hal Jordan knows the weakness of Parallax. The problem with this is that the powers of the Flash come into this. And that's what's so cool is because this is a friend of Barry Allen. I'm sorry, a friend of Hal Jordan. And that's why Parallax possessing one of the members of the Justice League or something like that is such a cool situation. But the conversations between these two characters, and that's what makes it so interesting. The conversation between these two characters are so intriguing because one of the things Parallax says is like, my ability to possess Barry Allen allows me to like communicate with the Speed Force. What would happen if Parallax infiltrated the Speed Force? Like if he managed to like corrupt the Speed Force, what would that Speed Force look like? And that's why things like this are so cool because it kind of asks these questions no one ever considered before. Like nobody ever thought about before. That's what's so interesting about this. Like it's just one of these really cool situations where it's just like, man, like for example, like it's nothing to do with the story. I am considering a topic for a Batman story. Like I'm trying to flesh out a Batman story. There is a moment with Alfred where like, if it goes as planned, people are gonna like turn the page. They're gonna be like, oh my God, like it's gonna be insane. They're gonna be like, what? It's gonna be one of those crazy moments. But like, that's the kind of thing, like these scenarios that people never think of, that people never consider, that never crosses their mind. That's what makes these stories so cool. But for Parallax, it's not just you're a character there, like you're a person that I'm fighting. It's you are Hal Jordan. Like I want you back. Because remember, Parallax was brought here. That mysterious short guardian person, the person that we have no idea who it is at the moment. We know who it is now in real life, but like living in the immersion, we don't know who that person is. And in that instance, with Parallax showing up, like wanting to repossess Hal Jordan, it's so cool because it's like, this is where I belong. Like I belong in Hal Jordan. Like that's where I'm supposed to be. And it's cool because Parallax exists to spread fear. That's all it is. And when Hal Jordan was possessed by Parallax, he tried to blink the universe out of existence and bring it back during 0 Hour Crisis in Time. The closest Parallax ever got to spreading fear across the cosmos. I would say the peak of him was when he possessed Hal Jordan. And so it makes the most sense that he would want to go back and possess Hal Jordan again. And that's all this really is. It's the whole idea of like, I want to repossess you. And Hal Jordan finally picks up on that. Hal Jordan finally realizes that, like, you want to possess me, so then possess me. And initially Parallax goes to do that, but this guardian jumps in the way, or this person jumps in the way. He says he's not a guardian, but he jumps in the way and says, Parallax, stop. You are not here to attack Hal Jordan. You're not here to possess him or anything like that. You're here to do my bidding. You are here to do a job that I've assigned you to. And when the intention of this guardian guy is to destroy Hal Jordan, suddenly we end up having like all these Lantern Corps start jumping in. You have like the Indigo Tribe, you have the Blue Lanterns, you have Larfleeze that shows up. It's cool because remember, while this whole thing is going on, everyone's hunting for the entities. A lot of them have already been found, but everyone's hunting for all the others. They're trying to locate them and trying to figure out where they're at. But at this point, we switch over to Sinestro and to Atrocitus, because remember, they're on the hunt for the Butcher, which is the Red Lantern entity. And the funny thing about this is that Sinestro's going, allying himself with Atrocitus for no other reason than the fact that like, hey, look, maybe somebody worse than us will get the entities, and that's a problem. So like, I'd rather be, on the devil's right hand than in his path. And so we are going to ally ourselves with Atrocitus and do what we need to do. The problem with this is that Romar 2, one of the Yellow Lanterns, kind of calls him up and says, hey man, the weaponer that made your Yellow Lantern ring originally, he's got your daughter on cord. Because remember, Saronic Natu, she bailed out on the Lantern Corps and like took off, left, and went to go be her own Lantern. And so the result is that at this point in time, she's sitting, in cord. She's sitting in the antimatter universe. And then like this guy's like, hey man, this guy demands your presence. And it's like, all right, look, that's probably the worst thing you could have said, was like, my presence is demanded. Because the coolest thing about Sinestro, more than like how he fights Hal Jordan, more than him creating his own Lantern Corps, all that kind of stuff, is his arrogance. Like he's one of those characters where like, normally I don't dig arrogance, but like for me, like you look at Sinestro and it's like, yeah man, like he's arrogant and really cocky, and it's amazing. Like it's so cool because like he's one of the characters like, and I don't know how many of you guys, for those of you guys who are not like Lantern fans, if you're stumbling across this video, there are people who love Sinestro. Like, they are huge fans of Sinestro. Actually, I'm curious now that we say it, who is your favorite lantern? Like, who's your favorite lantern? Of all the lanterns that exist out there, I don't care about the cores. Who is your favorite lantern? Like, is it Hal Jordan? Is it Barry Allen? You know, I guess when he was a blue lantern, is it, you know, Atrocitus of the red lanterns? Like, post and let me know, because I'm really kind of curious. But this is intriguing, because in the middle of all this, we end up having this Guardian just kind of show up. And when the question is asked, like, who are you and why are you here? Initially, he doesn't answer. You know, it's kind of intriguing, because one of the things that happened here was that this Guardian sort of taking off was done at the hand of Larfleeze, right? Like, Larfleeze is the orange lantern. Remember, when it comes to all the other lantern cores, the green lanterns and the indigo tribe and the blue lanterns and yada, 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 and so on, you have the emotion of hope or rage or what have you that's spread across all these individuals. With Larfleeze, it's not like that. It channels directly into him, meaning he has the power of 1,000 lanterns. And that's what this does. The guy conjures a construct, this massive construct, and just smashes the Guardian with it. And it's so cool, because initially Hal Jordan, you know, contacts the Blue Lanterns, contacts St. Walkers and say, look, man, I need your help, man. Like, things are popping off, everything's starting to go crazy. And then, like, here comes Larfleeze out of nowhere, like RKO out of nowhere, just like smashes this guy. And it's the coolest thing, because it's just like, dude. And this is why it's so cool to me, because like when I read this originally, it was my first time reading it. And it was probably like 7 months ago. It was my first time reading it. And like, I'm seeing this stuff that people have known for years. And it's just like, this is what you guys have been reading. I've been missing out, man. But it's so interesting, because what this Guardian does is he pops back up onto the scene and says, you guys have served your purpose. This was all part of the plan. You didn't defeat me. You didn't somehow swindle me into a trap. Like, you've done everything that I wanted you to do. And what I wanted you to do was take every single person who is possessed by an entity and locate them in one place. Because in turn, what he does is snatch the entities out of every single one of those guys. And so this one person is now in possession of all the lantern entities that we've discovered so far. And the result is that when the question is asked yet again, who are you? Like, why are you here? We end up finding out that this guy stands apart from the Guardians of the universe. He's not one of them, but he was at one point in time. This guy is Crona. And this is cool. The Guardian that looked back at the beginning of everything and witnessed the creation of the universe and set the entirety of the Lantern Corps and really like good and evil and the whole 9 yards, set it all in motion. This guy is the one who's responsible for the creation of the multiverse. Notice this though. This is something I want you guys to really notice here. There's the hand in the window. That's old school content. That's back in the day. That's OG double OG content. That is back in like the Secret Origin, really even way back then, you know, when Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, is when that was revealed. But that hand right there, I still say to this day, that's the hand of Dr. Manhattan. That's the hand of Dr. Manhattan creating the entirety of the universe. I say he made it, man. I say Dr. Manhattan made the universe. I'm gonna stick with that until DC releases the story and we find out he didn't. But I'm very sure he did. In which case, now we gotta call him Papa Manhattan. We gotta call it like, okay, Papa Manhattan, like whatever you want us to do, man, like we go clean our room. But it's cool. Like this is a great story. Like this is why I love this stuff so much. This Green Lantern stuff by Jeff Johns is just criminally good. I mean, it's stupid how good it is and how interesting it all comes together. But nonetheless, if you guys are new here to Comments Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like, and yeah, I will catch you all later. Peace.